Hi guys, welcome to this video. This is indeed FSX. However, this is the FSX Steam Edition. And you'll see things on YouTube and whatnot about doing reviews. I don't think it's really worth doing what I would consider a review, because at the end of the day this is FSX. This is fundamentally exactly the same program, albeit with a couple of bug fixes, than the old FSX. So I've done a video comparing FSX and X-Plane. I'm not going to go back over FSX, I don't see any point. It is literally exactly the same program. There's no real significant development, and even Dovetail have said so themselves, other than some bug fixes and changing it for Steam. So let's get airborne and we can have a quick discussion about some of the bits in relation to this, and I'll do sort of a really quick video now, 5 minutes or so in terms of Steam. I'm not going to talk about the aircraft, the scenery, any of that, because it's basically identical. Okay. One of the key things with Steam is it allows you to download games fully digitally, and consequently you register it via Steam. Automatic, don't need to do anything, no key codes, no discs, no mess, no rubbish. I'm not flying by the numbers, by the way, I'm just messing around. So consequently it's like a modern day game install, unlike the old one. Very easy, very slick, very quick. It's one of the real advantages of this, is basically you click on it to say you want to buy it, you click on it and it downloads, you click on it, it installs, and you click on it and you play it. End of. Very quick and easy to download and install. Took no more than 20-25 minutes for me for the whole thing. That's a whole thing for FSX. Instead of spending the hours watching the CD drive, or the DV drive, sorry, whir away trying to download information, much quicker. Admittedly, I've got a good a good internet connection, but there we go. So it's £20. That's a lot less than most add-ons. You know, you could go out and buy an add-on that's costs more than this and is less useful, you know, arguably. You know, this, at the end of the day, there are other simulators out there with no scope for expansion that are more than this. So £20, I don't think you can complain at the price. Even if you just got it just to have a look at it, it's not a massive amount of money to lose. Obviously consider it, because if you're an existing FSX user, you would question what's the point. That's the key, it's pretty much the same program. It's got the same limitations, it's still 32-bit, it's still limited to 4GB RAM, it's still got the same scenery, it's still got the same rendering, it still can't use DX10 properly. Still needs a DX10 fixer if you're going to use it with DX10, still doesn't maximise use of graphics cards. It is not optimised for current or modern machines. The distributors, Dovetail, only got a distribution license, so they cannot upgrade or update this package in terms of the core mechanics of the game. Now, one of the advantages of Steam is you can tick it to auto update, and if Dovetail release any updates, then basically your simulator gets automatically updated. Which is great, but what are they going to update? I mean, all they've implemented is a few bug fixes and the ability for it to operate on Steam. Now, just for your information, this is the stock scenery with the stock settings. All I've done is change it to my screen's resolution of 1080p. You can see a bit of stuttering, but that's because I haven't changed anything, and basically it's got all the basic sliders maxed out. So, you know, it does work respectively well in its core state without any further add-ons as a fairly reasonable simulator. Obviously, if I wanted to increase the performance, I could mess around with the sliders, but that's no different to normal FSX. Okay, so Dovetail, in terms of distributing this thing, it's a new framework in terms of being on Steam, so it installs in a different location, and Dovetail have indicated that most people should have no problems with a dual installation. Obviously, being a company, they won't guarantee anything. Likewise, they've also said it should be possible to get a majority of the current add-ons that are out there working with it. Again, there's no guarantees. And I would guess at some point there's going to be a migration tool, because one of the key things that's changed is because it's a Steam download and it's a Steam installation, it has different file paths and different file structures within it to enable it to work on Steam. And that fundamentally is the core reason that I can see why current add-ons will struggle with this, because they're expecting a normal FSX, yeah, quite bad stuttering there to be fair, they're expecting a normal FSX build, and it's not going to be there. So I would guess, similar to P3D, there's going to be a migration tool at some point where some clever person is going to sit down and figure out how to get an auto install basically to fit into this. That brings about the questions of DLCs. Future content for Steam FSX or FSX Steam is going to be downloadable content on the Steam website, the same as the Rail Simulator. My concern with that is that the Rail Simulator, if you click on the little box to say, oh, I'd like to buy all the add-ons, it's thousands of pounds. You know, this is not a cheap thing to buy the DLC for the Rail Simulator. I don't anticipate it being massively different for this. Now, in effect, what it's done is it's brought the distribution into the current world for both the game and potentially for the add-ons. How the add-on developers respond to that is going to be critical to the success or failure of this. So, at this point the key is that there's no development license, so this for me is not the future of flight simming. I know there's some really good add-on makers out there for FSX. It's down to how they work with Dovetail to progress the distribution of their products, whether they stick with the idea of just providing content for those of us who have the disc version, or whether they stick with Steam, or whether they do both. Time will tell, who knows. But fundamentally the two real concerns people have is, I'm an existing user, can I use all my add-ons with this? I don't know the answer, but I guess it's going to be something that can be worked out because it's the underlying program is the same. And then the other question is, if I buy FSX Steam, you know, am I restricted to the DLC that's downloaded? Or if I'm on an existing FSX, can I, and this is a critical one, if I'm on an existing FSX, will I be able to use DLC with my existing FSX? Big questions. I don't know the answers. In a couple of days I'm going to start trying to see if I can mess around with my existing add-ons and see if I can get them to work with this. I'll let you know how I get on with that. Compatibility is the big thing. Now, one of the other big things that's changed is multiplayer. It's gone back to a similar setup to GameSpy before GameSpy stopped with its multiplayer shenanigans. And basically, instead of VATSIM or Iveo or whatever, if you just want to mess around with a friend, you can go onto a multiplayer server. I've not done that yet. I'm going to have a mess around at some point in the near future as well, just to see what it's like. I tend not to like them because there's a lot of people who are quite irresponsible on them and mess around and try and troll other people. The key thing for me is to find out if and how this thing works with Pilot Edge and VATSIM, so I'll be messing around with that over the next couple of days. I hope you guys found the video useful. As I say, realistically for me, it's just FSX. There's no reason to hate it. It's a new distribution. It's not Dovetail who have decided to change everything. It was Microsoft who decided to change everything when they stopped supporting it. And that for me is the critical thing here, is it's just the same program. It's just hopefully going to reach out to a new audience, and in doing so, if it does, that can't be a bad thing for the flight sim community, surely. With that in mind, guys, I shall leave you to ponder over the video. Obviously, if you enjoy it, please don't forget to tick like, subscribe or share, and I shall hopefully speak to you guys soon. Take care.